CAF Olympic qualifiers are complete, which means now we know the 12 participants for the women's football tournament at Paris 24. Guys, welcome to the Africans. We have JD, the man of many streams. One day he'll take a vacation, and people won't call him out of that vacation. But until that day comes, you'll catch him here, then you'll catch him on Tactical. Then when Gunner's doing a late night in the early morning, he'll be there. And then
Guna does not sign me for no stream. I have no contract with Guna. Not one. All right. When he signs me, then I might consider it. Yes, that late night thingy ain't working for me. All right. Yes, but I might consider it. Yes, because they said that they want me to buy a Tesla. So I guess I have to take up as much contracts. How are you doing, Big Boss?
I'm good. Been watching a lot of women's football lately. Just because we had the CAF qualifiers, She Believes Cup, which goes into on my. We're going to talk about this, and She Believes kind of plays into this as well. I'm going to say this again. We are in a 2-year window where the Americans are beatable. We are in that window right now. It was 2023 and 2024. I think after that, and I think JD, after that, it's a real conversation, which is whoever wins the next World Cup on the women's side, I think I am preemptively going to start a conversation saying, are they the greatest women's team ever? Because I think the level of competition is at a point where you can actually have that conversation and say, okay, it's not just they ran through 2 teams and then they played a team in the semi and a team in the final. I think the women's game is getting so deep that nothing really isn't possible to say. So I think the U.S. is in that transition right now, which is fine. And I think that's great. But overall, I am loving what I'm going to see here with the Women's Olympics. JD, you watched the Nigeria matchup versus South Africa. South Africa still undefeated at home. But in typical Nigeria fashion, that just means they didn't win. They drew, but they didn't win. When you look at that game, because you watched the majority of that, I watched the majority of the Zambia-Morocco game. What are some of your takeaways from that in terms of how Nigeria performed, and how do you think that takes them into the World Cup going in?
Where I must start, for some reason, Nigerians and the Ghanaians always be fighting about football. That is the first thing I know. So let me just start there. I figured that out over this period. Based on what I've watched in the game, we could say that they had missed Plum 3, Demi Hen. Those girls were definitely missed. You understand me? You could see that they are trying to change the shape at the back. And Alozi was out of place most of the times. We don't think Deborah had her best game. Uchebi looked solid, but she had to drop down to pretty much a center-back type of player. You understand me? So they couldn't get that extra energy that they wanted. They said that some of the players them came in late. So Ashola and those girls came in late. Kanu, the customer missed chances over and over and over and over. To be honest. So what I saw, it's not about South Africa not losing the game or drawing the game in South Africa. I do believe that it was Nigeria giving away the chances. To be honest, I am impressed with Nigeria of creating so much chances than South Africa, because when I saw South Africa in the World Cup, they looked a little bit more scarier. I thought that it would have been a much closer game. Only the scoreline was close. I have to be honest. Only the scoreline was actually close. I think this game could have been 7-1 to Nigeria and should have been 7-1. They should fire Kanu. You know, I am the biggest hype man for Kanu, but Kanu has been terrible. The misses, those are fantastic misses. Bicycle, tricycle, all sorts of misses in front of the goal. Embarrassing. I am not happy with her, but sorry about that. But they have qualified, so I think they can work on it and give the right players them some game time.
No, I think that's fair. I think the one thing that I like to make this comparison, and I know JD always calling me bad mind in this way to making that comparison, but Nigeria feels like the Haiti of Africa, right? All the substance, all the flash, but they will miss 20 shots in a game that if you look back at it and you say, hey, you know what? They should win this 4-0, and you look at the score sheet, it's 1-1 or it's 1-0, and you're like, what? But Kanu missed 2, Oshala had her footing wrong on 1, Tony Payne came in here, and it's like, no, it's there. And I think that makes them interesting going into the Olympics, but it also tempers me on them a bit because I know I know the talent that they have, and I know they can play well, but you haven't seen it consistently. It's the same conversation I have with a team like Haiti, where it's you see the talents on the pitch, but until they're able to really put together that consistency, I'm very much, JD, you know me, I'm very consistent with that. I need consistency before I can fully buy into you. One game means nothing to me. I need to see 3. And then after 3, I'll say, okay, I'm seeing this trend. And then I can say, okay, the majority of that. And if they have a bad game, I'll say after the 3, they had 1 bad, so it's still 3 out of 4. And then if it's another bad game, then it's 3 out of 5. But then they have a good game, it's 4 out of 6. It's like, okay, their consistency is there. I think that's the most important thing for me to look at them. You finally have that. Did you catch any of the Morocco Zambia matchup?
Yes. Morocco. I thought that Morocco would have found a way to squeak past, you know, but the Zambia team is just a fighter. That's all I have to say. Yeah. They are a rigid team, and they know their worth. They know what they can do, and they do it well. If you are good on the day, you could pass them. But if you're missing chances and missing links up within the channels, they will make sure they ask you the right questions. And I thought that they asked Morocco the right questions on the day. I've watched the games. I've watched them, but maybe I took a little bit longer time to watch them. I never wanted to do them live, you know?
No, that's fair. And I think that's the fair thing with Zambia. Zambia, I think they know as a team what they are. They have pace. And if you give them that fullback space where they inch up too much, it's Banda, it's Rachel, it's the wing space, and they are going to run it. They are a absorb and counter team. And against some bigger teams, sometimes that doesn't go their way. But in these qualifiers, especially against Morocco just had to sit back, but they were able to find the spaces. And I think that's what I liked about their game here, where they were able to find the spaces, knowing that they had to take the front foot for the game. And I think that bodes well to them. And when we look at their groups, I don't know if that bodes well in their group, but it certainly does show you some opportunities where they can take advantage of it, especially with teams like they already have an impressive result against Germany heading into the World Cup, which is one thing, but we'll talk about that as we get to the groups and whatnot. I think Zambia definitely is going. I think they'll have a similar run to what they had in Japan, where they put up some impressive games, and they might lose a game 10-4, but you'll feel those 4. Right. And I think Zambia, if they tighten up defensively, find a few more players in the midfield to really build out and go, they have the attacking players to really pose a threat. We saw that with Rachel is the highest transfer for women, one side to the other, period.
Yes.
And then Barba Banda just came over. I mean, the American League is basically acting like the Premier League in '92. They get a bunch of money, and they said money came in. They said, "Hey,
has to go out. Money
no
has
more,
to
no
go
more
out there."
layaway." No more layaway. They're buying things full price. Just we'll take a ratio.
Let me make a wild guess here, because I know a lot of persons want to be the prediction kings so desperate, you know. Not Africans, not Africans. African doesn't want to be the prediction king, but Africans. Who you think is going to be the first 10 full $1 million footballer, ladies footballer? 10 million.
10.
One. Yes. I'm going to make the jump to 10 million because now they have pumped $1 billion in. So we want to see who we think out of the young core will be the $10 million first transfer.
I don't think it comes in this next generation. So, and by this next generation, I mean players that are playing like now who are playing U17s to like U. So I'm saying I don't think it's in the player that's 15 and up right now. I think it's the next wave. I think once they crack one, it'll probably be a couple cycles. Where are they going to come from? Tell me who wins this World Cup. And I'm going to be very honest. Tell me who wins this World Cup. Because if Spain wins this World Cup, I am telling you, JD, it's going to be a Spanish girl.
I think it comes in this next 5 years. It comes the next 10 million because remember, Rachel is 685,000 pounds, so that would have equated to around 800,000 or around 750,000.
Yeah,
I think one of the new sensations will be 10 million. I think I know Jason want to be correct and said Punisher ain't in that bracket to sell for 10 million. It's not going to happen. I think one of the Salma could be one of them. I think, let me tell you, I know the next 10 million player.
Okay.
The next 10 million player is the tiny human being, the next Messi in Spain team. What's her name, man? Oh my God. How can I forget her name?
Salma? Are you talking Salma?
No, man, not Salma, not Vicky. Vicky, I'm talking. Vicky will be the next $10 million player. Vicky, because I'm looking at a player young enough. So when it reaches 5 years from now, she's just in her prime. You understand me? And she carries the same tiki-taka system because I think one of the American teams them will try to translate what Spain is doing over there. They want one of the Barcelona teams in the NWSL. Yeah. That's what I think. And Vicky will be the poster child of that one. So Vicky will be the next $10 million player. Salma will go there, close to it. Yes. Ajika them will be maybe 5 million because it's going to raise, because your profile will be risen after once the inflation jump, other players will jump with it. Yeah.
I think, Jason, I think she'll pass it. I think you'll get a 1 million player going to the NWSL. Or you'll see the offer come in probably in
next year. Next year. No. Next year. Because 600. Let me do the translation. 685,000 pounds. That's almost close to $1 million already. So
the one problem with her, Jason, is that she's already in the States, so you don't have to pay for her to come there. But a club would have to pay to send her out. And I don't know who's paying that money. I can see someone in the NWSL dropping $1 million and saying, hey, Salma, we want you. Or, which I think could happen, if depending on what happens with teams, I could see like you mentioned Bunny. I could see Bunny commanding like 800, 900,000, close to $1 million to come over to the NWSL.
No, man, it's more than $1 million. Bunny Shaw leaving England has to be more than $1 million. It is 800 and the last transfer was 860,000, US dollars. Bunny Shaw is, be honest, Bunny Shaw works more than Rachel right now today.
I think so, and so I think if to get her here, it's $1 million just to have a conversation. And then probably closer to 1.2.
0.2. I think to get her into USL or WSL at this point for me. So we have already reached $1 million in ladies football so far. So I'm telling you, these young kids will be slapping up the numbers 100%.
I agree. And it's what a time for this sport. What a time for everything here. And I think that's what makes it very intriguing because you're looking at these next players. I mean, we've looked at them in CONCACAF. We've had our players saying who do we think could go. I know Dumernay is still going to be good. I think when she really gets her footing at Lyon, I think she takes off. But you have the Salmas, you have her, you have an Olivia Smith who's in Portugal, who 1 year there. That's the big question for me, going on a tangent. How many years of development do you need before you go into that professional area? Because that's the gap. That's how the gap is closing between Europe and the States. It's just that their kids are in academies. Most North American kids are going to the university route, which means 2, 3, 4 years. We just saw 2 Canadians say, no, we don't need that. Amanda Allen was going to go to university, but then before the year started, she just said, well, I'll just go pro. And she had 1 year, and now she's getting minutes, and you're starting to see it. Olivia Smith played 1 year, and now she's in Portugal, and she's up to the challenge. I think we'll definitely get a couple mils next year, but I think it's those young players. And it really comes down to I think Barcelona is going to be interesting next year on their women's side, because I think they're going to sell off some of those older players. I think Putellas ends up in the NWSL next year, because in a year or two, because
yes,
I think
okay, but that's what I was trying to look at, a player to bring the style from Spain over. You understand me? So you're saying that Putellas will come over now, and then Vicky in the future will be the one, because remember, Salma doesn't have the technical ability as Vicky, Salma is a big bulldozer type player from Spain, the athletic type player, you understand me? Yes. But I wanted someone of that ilk to come over. But Putellas, I am okay with her. I think she could go over. She could be, if she coming over, she's more valuable than Bonisha. You're going to look close to 2 million. I think she goes close to 2 million, 1.7 million to get her over there.
No, I think so too. And I think because Barca and Real have such academies that you need to make space. So why not sell on a player? There's money there. Bring in those players. And then now you can bring in some more younger players, have a youth renaissance for the women's side. And then you still make money off of the investment off of a good player. And they can still live out and play and in a good, decent league. I think that's what's going to start to happen, because I'm not sure in terms of opportunities. We know the money is in the States right now. And the more teams they add out there, I don't think Canada's going to be there immediately, because I know Canada's league starts next year. I don't think they're going to be able to attract such a name like that immediately. I think it'll take them at least maybe 5 years to get things going. I think they're going after I'll call them the late bloomers, the Canadians and players who are maybe trying to get another kick of the can or are developing late. And I think that opens a door for them for their women's league, which is getting 6 teams. So that's another 6 teams in North America, which I think will be great. But hey, this is what happens, JD. We start talking. We're all over the place. Transfer here.
Yes, no, that's very good, because a lot of people might not know that ladies football is rising. Sometimes I'm over my channel talking about ladies football, and I realize a lot of people not really checking how fast it's actually growing. And I can tell you, if transfers start to reach 10 million, believe me, man. Oh my God, ladies football is gonna be sweeter, because it's sweet. No, but it's gonna be sweeter.
Nice. the only thing with them, my only hesitation with it is just they need to be mindful of the spaces. And this is the overall football conversation. It's not just on the lady side.
Africans complain about timing and schedule. Oh my God, this is
what I do, JD.
Every time.
I am consistent.
Less football, please. Less football. No.
I'm not saying less football. I'm not saying less football, JD. I am saying, hey, if there's a FIFA break, actually take a break. That's all I'm saying. Yes, you may have to extend your league a little bit, but hey, if it's 2 week break, take the week off. Don't power through and go through. Do that also, and then let's get some more academies in North America. Let me get some academies, and then like a professionalized academy environment for players, so that your options aren't just go pro or just kind of stay on the outside. That's what I would say. I stay consistent there.
Jason, Kundananji, Rachel Kundananji went for £685,000 in 2024. All of the highest transfers were actually in 2024. So that tells you how much football is going. Ramirez went for 500,000 to Chelsea. She broke Kira Walsh from Barcelona's record of 400,000. Then everyone came after that, start breaking records, and it started going up 100,000. 200,000. That's how it's going. So it just tells you that the more footballers move, it's going to be more money. 100%. Yeah. So let me get to it, Africans. On what you had made of the Zambia Morocco game, and let me go try jump into making some predictions. You're not going to hide from the predictions.
I don't hide from them. I'm on my channel. They know my face here. I have no fears. They know my face here. No, I think Zambia is I liked how their resolve against Morocco, which you said earlier. I think how they played there, throw in like a solid midfielder for them, and now you start to open up the possibilities for what this team could be. You still have Banda in her prime, you still have Rachel in her prime. I think you continue to play out that way. Get this team a midfielder, and I think they can really start to open up and play more on the front foot instead of more so absorbing pressure and then trying to hit on the counter always consistently. But that kind of leads into like groups in terms of what you can do. We have our 3 groups, which are set up here. Group A for the Olympic tournament, you have France, Colombia, Canada, and New Zealand. Group B is the United States, Zambia, Germany, and Australia. And then Group C, Spain, Japan, Nigeria, and Brazil. Ironically, Japan played Brazil at the She Believes Cup this year because that's what happens when you schedule a friendly and you can't get out of it. So it kind of works there. But Group A, let's start and go in order from there. France, Colombia, Canada, and New Zealand. Yes, Haiti football. Canada has a tough group, but you're at the Olympics. There's no hiding. You're not going to find a team. I don't even know if those teams exist at this point where you say, oh, that's a guaranteed 3-0. No, every team is good here. New Zealand is clearly, I think, the team that everyone's looking and saying maybe we can get good against. We can, do a little bit of healing against that team. But I think in that first group, it's interesting to me because we saw Canada play France before the World Cup. They've moved away from that setup. And I'm going to start off with Canada because I'm the Canadian here. I don't mind saying this. I like what I've seen from this team recently. I do. I think the change to the back 3 was something they needed to do. And in doing so, it's unlocked a lot. It's covered up their bases in terms of letting their wing backs or their fullbacks go forward and still have the cover. I think the biggest question they need to answer right now is how do they still go with a 3-player midfield? Because against the States, they got away with it in different aspects. But I think when it comes to what they're able to do, I don't know how many players they can bring. And with the 18, do you bring 4 midfielders and play 3 and rotate 1 in, or do you move off of it from there? So I think when it comes to Canada, I'm more confident in them heading into these Olympics than I was, say, them going into the World Cup. And I'm very excited for that. I think it opens up the possibility of them finishing definitely top 2 in this group. Colombia will be a challenge for them. France, I know they're the home side, but with the home side comes pressure. They have a lot of talent. So I think I would say France and Canada are my top 2, with Colombia finishing 3rd and then New Zealand 4th. What about you, JD?
All right. So for me, the Canada team, I like the Canada team. I like the way they went at United States. They never backed down like previous times. I do think the back 3 is actually working. And as you said, you're not sure if they should use a 3 in midfield. I think the 5 in midfield actually works even better with the 2 strikers. I actually like that a lot more. So when Leon is my girl, she definitely tells me that Canada could reach places, to be honest. Yes. So I would say Canada showed me enough to say that they are going to do well in this group. France is going to be a tough one. New Zealand is a good team, but I don't think New Zealand is on the level of Canada. I think Canada will beat New Zealand, and Colombia will be that little problem for Canada. But I think Canada is a better team than Colombia now. So it's going to be between France and Canada to win the actual group.
No, yes. I think that'd be accurate, guys.
Canada or France. And I am not 100% sure that France beat Canada. I am not 100% sure with a rigid system. I think that counter, Leon them can tear up anybody, any one of these teams. So I think it's going to be one of those games that anyone gets the advantage in midfield and that the transitions, wider transitions, win the game. And I would say Canada's first midfield, I think I like it a little bit more than the France midfield.
That's interesting because
Yes,
again,
that's what I like.
no, and that's good. I think the interesting thing with Canada is I think their starting 11 is set. I don't think because Bev is Bev. This is my one criticism of Bev. Bev trusts her faves, and which basically means if you played youth soccer for Canada, you basically have a chance to play. If you go to my Instagram, there's a flow chart and says if you are playing well for Canada, follow the flow chart. Will tell you where you play and if you have a chance to play. It's tongue in cheek, but it's also true. I think when it comes to Canada, it's going to be Nichelle Prince up top if she's healthy, with Leon on one side, Becky on the other, and then you're either going to go Lawrence and Carl, or if Jade Riviere is healthy, it's going to be Jade Riviere. In the middle, it's going to be right now. Simia Wujo has been playing well, and I think she gets it. But I think also that's with no Quinn. If they're there, I think they play. But it's going to be Fleming and either Quinn or Simi. And then the back three are going to be Gilles Buchanan and Jade Rose, who right now, Jade Rose is probably that next level, the next player to play number 12. And I think she'll do well. So that's what Canada's going to play. And if they do that, basically their front five is interchangeable. It's fluid. You'll see Ashley Lawrence pressing up top for some reason, and then Nichelle Prince will be out wide covering because that's just how they are. They'd have enough pace to do it. Jason asks, is Haidama a 10? She's not a 10. She's more of a 9, and she's better right now. She's still better as a target 9. I still think her game has played better. I think she has improved her playmaking ability, and I like that about what she's been able to do. But ultimately, I think for a fluid attack and a fluid press, you do want to have a player like Nichelle Prince over her. And then you still have Chloe Lacasse, who's playing well at Arsenal and whatnot. I think they're going to be set. They'll be good to go. But I think that's there. Jason also says, don't sleep on Colombia. Colombia is tough for me because I really wanted to see that matchup with Canada and Colombia at some point. We're not going to see it until the Olympics because they're not going to play a friendly with themselves before that.
Jason, Jason is a Colombian African.
I know.
Yes.
Your nation, your Suriname, he's Colombian.
Yes, but I am watching, and I'm giving it based off watching. And I think that we have to put some respect on Canada's name. Canada really stamped themselves closer back to the second spot. Because I was watching Mexico to give Mexico their credit, but I still believe that Canada still be better than Mexico. Still better than Mexico. You understand me? So they have put themselves back into that fray when they have activated the back three. I honestly believe so. Now they are working in their own and they look devastating. So I am going to give them their credit. And I think they are actually better than Colombia. And if they meet Colombia, they are going to smash Colombia, You smash them at 2-1, but they're still going to get smashed, Yeah, I think they're a better team. Yeah.
I do think that the one question for them would be defensively, just on those counters. We saw that against the States at She Believes Cup. They gave up a goal down the middle, and I think that's the first time we've seen that really given to the States and really gone through. And just the timing and when to step up. You have one who steps up a little bit too early, and that happens. But I don't think there was ever a question that Canada wasn't number 2 in CONCACAF, JD. I think the question was more so what was the gap between Mexico and Canada and how big was it? I think how they are playing now, I think the gap is where I thought it was, but where they were playing before, you could have an argument and say that the gap was clearly closing. And that wouldn't have been a bad take. I would have agreed with that. No doubt about that.
Agreed. And that's simple what I'm saying. I thought that Mexico really took themselves to a next level, which is true. But also Canada proved that they have gone a next level, which is maybe closer to USA. Obviously, people could say that it's because of USA dropping off. But I still believe that Canada have improved a little bit. All right. So that little bit get them closer to the United States, regardless of how you're saying that they have gotten there. That's all I'm saying.
No, Jason, you bring up this point here, which is Becky was playing left midfield in the 3-4-3 as she believes. I think she should play higher, though it didn't look comfortable when asked to defend. You have to keep in mind they played one midfielder against Brazil. The Brazil game isn't a Brazil game was literally Bev saying, "Let me try something," and it was just, "Well, Fleming, you do everything right. Let's just do that." If you look at the formation, it was the airplane. It was 1-3-1-4-1. That's what the formation was. So I think ultimately, I don't take too much out of that Brazil game because I don't think Bev's ever going to try to experiment and say, let's just go try to go a 3-4-3 diamond in the midfield because you need midfielders. That's if we've learned anything in these two games, adding a midfielder gives you more of that fluidity, gives more support, and helps you build out better. So I don't think they're ever going to go back to that. But it's a fair point, and that comes down to the numbers and who you bring. You need that fluidity. You need players who can go through, and I think that could work well for what you're going. Haiti football repping the French flag now, saying France has 11 all-star starters, and that's fine. That's great.
It's just his bias being Asian,
So now the French love you. Now they do. Yeah, I don't doubt you know them all. I don't doubt it at all. Haidema was playing behind Rose versus Brazil the other day, and look, yeah, I think Haidema is a 9. I know they played her out wide on times just because you're trying to get your best 11 or Bev's best 11 onto the pitch. I don't like her out wide because you need the pace. And I think right now that's the one thing. It's nothing against Haidema, but her game isn't pace. Her game right now is finishing in good. She can build out from the back, but then you need a steadier build up from that if you're going to try to build with Haidema, right? Profiling wise, I'm not going to call her Bunny, but Bunny has more pace than Haidema, in my opinion. But in that type of place, if you put her on a team with a team like, say, a Haiti, which is just pace and just direct balls, you're going to see Bunny lacking there. And I think Haidema, with the amount of pace that's on the pitch, that's why I think if everyone is healthy, Bev goes with Michelle Prince and tries to find a way to get Chloe Lacasse onto the pitch versus going with Jordan. Not that she can't play there, but I think with the overall speed, then you can interchange the front three, then your fullbacks are there, and then you can go there. So I think that's where I think the opportunities can really open up for them. Myra will be at the Olympics, yes. And I think Colombia gets out of the group ultimately, but we'll see kind of how it goes, and we'll go from there. Has Canada ever beaten Spain? No. We played them. No, we may have played them before. After you look, I know we played them at the Arnold Clark Cup 3 years ago, and we lost. Or 2 years ago, 3 years ago it was, and they lost.
Remember, one is in Europe. One is in Europe. So the amount of time they get to play each other is a lot more. So that is very much of an unfair statement because he wants to come and hype about France team. That's what he wants to do,
Yeah, and Diani will play the crossbar challenge. She's still talented, but Diani's crossbar challenge. So ultimately, it's fine, kind of where it is. JD, so what's your group ranking for Group A?
All right, so my ranking for Group A. All right, you know what? I'm going to say it. I think I'm going with Canada. I'm going with Canada taking it. I think upset as to what ED Football says. I'm going to stick with Canada. I'm not going to let Canada down. Canada taking it for me. Canada taking it for me. They are not going to let me down. Canada taking it. All right. They are going to take all the points and go ahead of a big bad France. Big bad France. Yes, I'm going to go it. So Canada first, France second, and Colombia third, New Zealand last.
All right. And I'm going France first, Canada second, Colombia third, New Zealand last.
All right.
All right, guys. You guys have put it in. Don't keep going it in. And then if you're rewatching this, let us know your predictions as well. Group B, the United States, Zambia, Germany, and Australia.
Ooh.
Ooh. I'm gonna say this: Zambia is gonna be a headache for two of these teams. They're gonna be a headache in the sense that if you look, remember what I said at the beginning, JD. This is the 2-year window. This is the 2-year window where I don't think the U.S. is gonna really be successful too much on things. They'll still get good deep runs. I'm not saying that they're gonna get grouped here. I think they get out of their group. But again, this will probably be the first time that they have Emma Hayes with them. So Emma's going to do some experimenting as well. So they're not going to have their solid team. I think if you look at the US, their best trio up top is the trio that scored the second goal, which is Jaden Shaw, Sophia Smith, and Tranny Rodman. Those three could be headaches for the world once they get into their stride, which will happen at the 2027 World Cup. But they need to grow into that. Zambia, Rachel, and Barbara, they're going to be a headache for teams. Australia, you still have Mary Fowler. I don't think Sam Kerr will be back. It might be close, but I don't think she'll be back from her injury from there. And then Pop and Germany are a team that were unlucky at the World Cup, but they still fell. What do you think? Does Zambia have a chance for third, you think?
No. Fowler and those girls can carry Australia. I don't think. I think Australia is a dogged team, and they still can be technical as well. Because I was talking, I thought that they were just dogged alone, because I was here for it to beat them, to say that they are just a bully 19. What to say? Just a big bully like a 1999 English style football. Yeah. No, but I think they are a lot better than that. They showed me that when they're ready to drop the ball on the ground, they could do it. They just try to play as best as possible to their opponents. So if they know that they're playing Spain, makes no sense. They are out there passing 9,000 balls trying to compare with the tiki-taka human beings. You understand me? So they know their opponents and they try to do the right things at the right time. So I think against Zambia, Zambia will not have that extra oomph to get over them, and I think that will be good enough for me. I think Australia will cause some problems. I think this group is deadly, man. Germany want to prove something, man, and Germany is better than what showed the last time in the World Cup, So I think Australia gets the best third spot in this. I'm going with United States first, Germany second, Australia third,
and then Zambia fourth.
And then Zambia, obviously no one else left, so I guess it has to be Zambia fourth.
And I think that'll be it. I think Germany, and I think Jason's kind of going to go kind of what I'm thinking here, which is the idea that I think Germany can top this group but the one thing I have is, for a first time in a very long time, depending on who they take, the US could take a team to this World Cup where they're just too young to know any better, which is curious to me, right? Trinity, Sophia, Jaden, those are all young players, right? They could arguably not know any better and then just decide, and then beat a Germany, even though Germany has beat them recently. It's very interesting. Then you have Zambia, who, yes, Zambia beat Germany before the World Cup in one of their pre-up matches. So that's
that's a get-together match. I don't think that will happen again.
And I don't think so either. But I think this group is a lot closer than I think. I don't know. I want to say Germany comes out on top here, but it's like I'm playing rock, paper, scissors, and I'm saying paper beats rock here, but then, and I'm sorry, paper beats rock here, but then rock beats scissors here, and then scissors beats paper here. So I do wonder what it'll go through. I think based on how they are, I think they make it out of the group. They might top the group, but I think they still maybe lose out in the quarterfinals or the semifinals. I don't think they win the gold here either. So I'm going to go with Germany up top for one. I'm going to do it. Australia 2.
Ooh. Why Africans
I don't know why. There's no logic to this, JD. There is no logic to this.
But you just got some more data. Africans, they're still going against the United States after they beat up Canada.
They didn't beat me, okay? We just took bad penalties, okay? We're there. Leave me be. Jason, I know it's madness. As I'm saying this to myself.
No.
I don't think
that's not right.
I will not be surprised because I think this group will cannibalize itself. That's based off of a way that the US ends up in third. Not because they're the third best team. I think because I can see this being US draws Germany. I can see Australia drawing the US. I think there's enough draws here where based off of that, they end up third. I don't think they outright end up third like it's games. Jason. No call-in, Jason. No call-in. No, we keep it classy here. But no, I think this group, I am comfortable to say it's interchangeable because this USA side isn't in their final form. This German side feels like it's their last hurrah, and this Australia side feels like they want to show that they're hosting their fourth place finish wasn't a fluke. So,
which I agree with you. I agree, you know, that everything you explain about the teams, but even when you're explaining things about the teams, it doesn't make sense with the prediction. So people just realize that maybe you're just bad minding the youths them of the United States.
No, not the youth, not the US, JD. JD, I only have room to bad mind one country. You know this.
Oh my God. No, right now, the Jamaicans they would have said the same thing. Then Nigeria would have said the same thing. No, it's Mexico, United States, and you have something against Mexico as well. So right now, I don't think it's only one room. You know, it looks like it has 4 rooms.
Hey, JD, this isn't the nativity story. There's plenty of room in the inn. There's plenty of room. Okay, no, but I think this group. I think ultimately that group. If I was just reading it, I'd say it'd be USA, Germany, Australia, Zambia. But for some reason, I feel like there's more draws in this group that will come through. So that's why I'm going with. That's why I'm going with it. Hey guys, if I'm wrong, I'll be in the comments, so it's fine. I don't mind that. I take my vacations when I'm wrong, so I can't. I might as well play. If people say that, if people say that, I might as well live into it, right? I might as well just kind of lean into it. So I'll just take my vacations when I'm wrong, and life will be good. So let's see what we have. Predictions. Joseph says Germany, Zambia, USA, Australia. You have no respect for Australia. And I think the thing with Zambia is for teams that play a 4 at the back, Zambia will cook. Zambia has the speed where if you pinch your fullbacks up too far up the pitch, you are asking 2 center backs to go against 2 deadly counter players. And it's always going to look for Barbara or look for Rachel. And outside the box, they're deadly. Inside the box, they're deadlier. So they have to be careful with that. And I think that's the one thing where I say Zambia will be a headache for teams because any back 4 that has attacking fullbacks, if they aren't careful, 1 minute you switch off, Zambia will try to take advantage. Now, hopefully they'll have better finishing than. No, I'm not going to throw in that shit shot there because that'll just sound like I'm really bad minding Nigerians.
I'm telling you, that's look, I'm not gonna cut you off, but the other day I'm on a stream, just normally doing my thing, and I just
saw the comments.
And I'm saying this is what they do to people. So they thought that they are here to fight me. When I'm just doing everything, I have to start protecting my brand. You know, I'm gonna come here and say everything that African says is not on me. All right, I'm not gonna wear any more African shirts because people start thinking that I and you are the same. All right, and it's not true.
I have hair. You don't have hair. You have a bit of hair. I have a head of hair.
Well, no, thank you very much. Because I saw a man came in. He's criticizing. I'm saying, brother, what Ghana has to do with this? Ghana has nothing to do with this.
It was at the beginning too, JD. I was just like, oh, good game, JD. I think. And it's like, yo, good luck, Nigeria. Better than Ghana. I'm like, what did we do? We're not even in the title.
Oh, my God. Oh, Lord. Man. But this is what you're creating. Believe me, don't worry yourself. You soon blow up and out there causing problems, you know?
I'm trying not to, but I just can't help myself, JD. I just can't help myself. But yeah, so Group B, I think that group will have the most amount of draws in it because I think there's enough quality sides that will really do enough work. Then Group C, it feels simple, but I think B and C are going to be interesting groups there. You have Spain, Japan, Nigeria, and Brazil. And I think when it comes to Spain, they need to be playing for the gold. I don't think you can do anything but that. This side has to, because if they are at, they have to. In my opinion, they have to, because what else? I don't think there's another team. I think in terms of building on the legacy, I think Spain can have similar to what their men had in 2008, 2010, and 2012. I think they could run. I think they could be running women's football if they aren't already. And so for me, it's a conversation of Spain. You just won the World Cup. Now go win the Olympic gold. It's a smaller field, which means it's best on best. I think they have the talents to do it. Will they do it? I think, to me, looking at the Spain side, anything outside of the finals, to me, it's not a failure, but it's a missed opportunity. I think Spain needs to be playing for that. So I think I'm going to put Spain up top, even though a team like Japan does match up in terms of a passing style. Whoever gets the ball they'll just pass their way through. Japan, I like them in those half spaces a little bit more. Spain is just 3 passes, and then you're wondering why your goalie is at the top of the 18 and Salama is just like tapping the ball in, and he's like, I'm not built for that. Emotionally, I'm not ready for that. But they're there. Brazil is a team that will always have. Brazil is the name brand, right? Not to say that they aren't living up to the name brand. I think Brazil is a team that will cause a lot of teams trouble, because in a minute, Brazil can give you 2. Brazil has a talent to, they can change the game on the dime. They have those types of players.
Oh my God, this group.
Right? And then there's Nigeria, which finishing is always going to be Nigeria. I mean, their trip at the World Cup pretty much sums them up to me, right? A game against Canada where if they're more on the front foot, I think they win that game. And then against Australia, they counter and it's goal, 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 goal. And then against Ireland, it was just okay. They got the result. They moved through.
And then against England, similar. Yeah.
Well,
once the red card. So what you have figured out about Nigeria? You think that this group could actually suit Nigeria, where in which there are 3 better ball handling teams and teams that will be coming forward. You don't think that will actually suit Nigeria based on what you just saw from them? That they are not the good at initiating things, but they will be a devastating counter-attack teams, because Kanu can run past everybody and nobody can stop her in ladies football. It's just the problem is she stops herself.
Kanu, Oshala, Tony Payne.
Yeah, they are. Oh God.
I think if you're triggering from that, the thing that I loved about them at the World Cup was they weren't just a sit back and they weren't just a low block team. And I think with Carlisle as their coach, they've been able to, and that was my biggest flowers I gave to them was that Canada game. It wasn't just a low block. It was a low block for a bit, and then it was a mid press for a bit. And you saw that it was uncomfortable for Canada to play for a team. Now, mind you, that version of Canada was trying to establish something that wasn't really working at the World Cup. I think they'll match up well against a Brazil. Against a Spain, I don't know. And I think the group that if they were in, say, if they were in Group B, if it was Zambia in this group, and then Nigeria in Group B with Australia, the US, and Germany, I think they would suit better in that group, because I think they could be a lot deadlier transitioning. This team, they have to, spaces, angles are everything here. One bad step, and yes, they have the most talented, one of the better goalies in the world. But I think this group, it's not that they aren't a good side. I think this group will hinder them to get out based off of the passing styles that you have. Japan and China, not Japan and Spain. I don't know why I said China there, but Japan and Spain, I think their passing can get through those different types of presses. What I do like about Nigeria is that they are fluid in their defensive structures, which I think can catch teams where it's okay, we're going to do this. And then now you're going against a high press. Now you have to adjust to that. And then when you think you've adjusted to the high press, then it's a mid block. And then it's okay, now we're going to bring it in. And then you start to trigger more things. I think Nigeria against Brazil will suit better. if they look good against either Spain or Japan, I think after that game, the conversation changes and we say, I think they can get out of this group, maybe top 2. But just looking at this from paper, I think this group will doom them less than their talent, because I think the passing will be their effect. So I think it goes ultimately. Ooh.
Because the first game is against Brazil and Braziliano, which I think is good for Nigeria.
It is, because I think, if not to say that's their best chance to get any type of results, but if they can bank a draw, but I think a win they need. A win sets them up to get out.
And out of all 3 teams, I think it's Brazil they can defeat. I think it's going to be tougher, which I think they can defeat Japan as well, because we saw that Switzerland, was it Sweden? Sweden's height gives Japan all sorts of problem, and no, Nigeria has speed with that height. So I think if Nigeria gets something out of the Brazil game, which I highly believe that they could win against Brazil, Brazil will still be the favorites. Don't think I'm delusional. I think Brazil is still the favorites, but the speed can trouble Brazil, and the finishing ability with such a good goalkeeper, anything can happen. If they get something out of that game, I think they can actually get a good position, because Japan, I am not so sold on Japan. If it drop deep and keep as tight as possible and get that ball up the top of the pitch, Japan struggle. I think Kanu and those girls tear up Japan backline if you get the ball over there and you can get them on the counter. I know that that's their flaw. Spain has more control of the ball, so the time you get to get that ball, you can't counter them because they're already in that shape. So that's why Spain is better than Japan in that regard,
No, and I think I agree. I think this group sets up, if they play well strategically, and this comes down to the tactics, I could see Japan being the odd team out, which is wild to say, but I think Nigeria can go direct ball and just use their height advantage, similar to what Sweden did. And you could say a team like Brazil could do that. Now against Spain, Japan can be effective in terms of their finishing and their countering, but I think Spain is going to have the majority possession in all their games.
Yes.
And the question is going to come down to, can you keep up with the amount of times that they score? Because if they have an off game, you just need 1 or 2 chances and you're breathing well. If they are finishing, if it's 30 minutes into the first half and it's already 3-0, and now you have to come out, give them more space to make passes? No, it's okay. Let me go to the Olympic Village. Let me go see the Eiffel Tower. I'm in Paris, so let me enjoy that life. But I think this group, I'm going to go Spain up top. I don't think that's a question.
Yes.
I'm going to go Brazil, and then Nigeria gets the 3rd place spot moving out.
And Japan gets last. Oh my God.
I think so.
I think Nigeria will spoil the party. That's what we can agree on. They will spoil the party. I just don't know if it's Japan or Brazil. I think it might just be both. But I'm going to say that they get the result against Brazil. I just have something. You know what? I think Nigeria will get a result against both of them. Okay. Nigeria will get a result against. But I'm going to go with, I'm kind of agree with you, because and the game between Japan and Brazil, that's going to go. Think Brazil equipped to hurt them wicked. I am going to go with I'm going to go with you, but I'm going to say if Nigeria will get something against Brazil, and because of that, they are going to lose to Spain. So that maybe they concede more than a couple against Spain. All right. So Spain comes first. Brazil, Japan comes second. Brazil comes third.
Okay.
Yes. No, Nigeria comes third. Brazil comes last.
So you're going Brazil last. Okay.
Yes, Brazil last. Because Brazil on the first day will lose points against Nigeria. So that's why I'm going with that.
No, yeah, and I think that's fair. That's fair. Jason's giving Spain 1, Japan 2, Brazil 3, Nigeria 4. I think I've seen a lot of people
He
put
has to
Brazil
change
as
it.
the
He
third
has to
place.
try tweak it, because he wants to fight for the
Mm.
prediction king, something that he can't win. Yeah.
I want to be so petty and say things, but I won't. But I won't. No, but I think ultimately, I've seen more than enough people say Brazil in a third place spot just because of where the group that they're in, and I think that's fair. Nigeria is still a bit dodgy. Omar Fallon says, and I think that's fair. Their finishing isn't consistent. It must run in the water in Nigeria because I mean they have big strikers who I mean where are the goals? Where are they? I'm still waiting. I'm waiting for goals, Nigerian strikers. If you want to find me, that's great. Have your center backs lead you in goal scoring during tournaments.
Africans, what is wrong with you? Why you can't say what you're saying and finish? You're still over here. Oh, you're still
JD, I'm
talking.
mad about that comment. I'm mad about people just coming into Nigeria versus South Africa and saying Ghana's no good. What did we do? We're here watching the game. I'm still mad. I'm still mad about that. Just see it.
Guys, we have a lot of people over here. Please do subscribe to the Africans channel, share, and hit that like button. Hitting the like button helps with the visibility. I think this was a very good conversation, and everyone give their take why they want certain thing. And this is what I love. I wish I had a football community first before a war board community first. Yeah, because sometimes these conversations bring me back to loving the football a lot more. Yeah. Pure bad man upon my channel.
Well, I mean, there's plenty of room in the inn, JD. There's plenty of room in the inn. Jason letting us know that the crown is earned, not given. How many times do I have to tell you that? That's fair. That's fair.
So how long I was earning the crown? I don't know. He just wanted to walk up and try to take it, but he is. So I guess it goes for him, and not necessarily the other way around. Reggae girls should have been made the Olympic. Irie vibes, just go back and be Irie in your vibes. All right. Yes.
I don't think they should have. I think in the two matchups I think they were beaten in the two matchups, and that's where it was. I think if we're gonna have that conversation, I'm still waiting for the midfield to show up for the Reggae girls. Any type of build up. We're still building. I'm still waiting for that. And I think that's what they need. They'll have wide players for days coming in, but they need more of those. They need more to control the pace of the game. And I think that's what they're lacking right now. If they can find some
Africans stop finding proper too much cute words for them. Irie vibes.
There's nothing cute about a midfield, JD. It's a
going
midfield.
on the internet talking foolishness. Stop going around the internet talking too much foolishness. All right? Yes. I don't want to hear why, because anything you're going to say is crap. All right? Yes, that is the truth.
What?
Well, let me explain.
Wrong country. I thought they only did, but there's no Trinity. There's no
Jamaica should have been there. Which game with any elite team it looks like Jamaica could have beaten? Just stop this crap, man. All right, we have Alulana over here. Oh my God, Alulana, make sure to subscribe.
Yep, I watched the thing. I was not impressed with the second half. One player, but again, they were not given any chances in the World Cup. This is true. I think it's great for Africa on this point that you get. It's great that Nigeria is back on the stage, because Nigeria is a team that I think they have the pedigree from the name standpoint, the brand, but they don't always have the results. And I think for them to get back on the stage, because last time, and by no means disrespect those countries, you had Zambia and South Africa. South Africa made sense. And they were like, Zambia? They have one of those? And then turns out, yes, they do have one of those. And they're one of the top 4 teams in Africa right now. So I love where it should be. And I truly do appreciate what they're able to do. I think, you know what? You did. This is I want to build off of this point, which is Olympic winners should auto qualify the next one. Jamaica could have got the second CONCACAF spot, but the US was already qualified.
They would have to play the United States.
Yeah, you would have to play the US to qualify. But what I will say this is I think the women's
Africans,
JD.
they
This is
should
what
have
I think.
made them play USA. Yes, just to remove United States, Canada, and put United States.
I have no issue with that.
Yes.
But what
No,
I will
because
say, yeah,
he wants to go to a tournament that Africans, you have to play some good teams. You understand
true.
me? You can't get by to go places where you don't deserve to be. What Jamaica did to go to the automatic qualification spot? Because remember, remember Africans. United States were in our group of death. They were the winner of the group.
Yes.
So what Jamaica did to make the automatical spot, because you said it's one more after the
The
winner,
winner
after the winner.
the winner of
Yes.
World Cup qualifying, the CONCACAF
So
W
that should
Championship.
go there, and then you say the automatic next spot should have gone to no, because no, I guess he's saying that United States should have United States gain their spot. So the second spot, so it should be three player teams. So they need to make it over back just to see if they can put Jamaica in it.
I,
Ah,
I'm not going to make mental gymnastics to go through, but here's what I'll say, JD. Look at the
no.
men's tournament. This is my only point on this. The men's tournament is 16 teams, top 2 move through. Right? And this is the same point that I made when they announced that they were going to expand the U17 tournaments to 48 for the women. I mean 48 for the men, but then they're only going to go to what? 24 for the women. And I was like, well, I think the game is at a point where I think at the Olympics, you could, because there's enough European team. England's not at the World Cup. That's a reality on the women's side that happens when they're not good enough. That happens, right? You just have Japan and Australia. South Korea would be a good side here as well on an Asian. I think there's enough quality sides that you could expand it to 50 to 16 on the women's side.
And how much teams from CONCACAF? Because Jamaica was better than these teams. So who
I
are
don't
you going to give the spot to?
For CONCACAF. Well, let them play. Let Jamaica play Mexico and see what happens.
Okay, so you want to give a spot from CONCACAF, because
Yeah,
clearly we could say England never made the Olympics, don't.
yeah.
So
I don't
why
have an issue
England
with
don't
that.
get a chance? Why are we fighting against England youths?
Well, no, JD, their food isn't seasoned. This is why we fight them. I'm going no. JD, I'm gonna get people be like, "There's this Canadian who's just saying madness."
No, because
Yes,
this madness of Irish vibes gone down the wrong road. I'm just saying that CONCACAF doesn't deserve an automatical spot, because England would. I would rather want to see England here than Jamaica, because at least I know that England will try to win games. I am
true,
not sure if Jamaica will try to win a game. You understand me?
true.
Or if they are in that position to win a game, because we know what's going on in the federation. So I don't know why. I don't even know why Jamaica get up in this conversation. I don't. I honestly don't believe. I don't believe it. But our vibes don't talk about nothing else aside from Jamaica. Yes, but yeah,
I, I
Africans.
I think it should be six. I think the women's side. I think there's enough quality side to be 16. And if you go 3-3-3, and then you go four, or you go four for, or you go 3-3-3, 4-4, and then the Oceania, which is New Zealand, which they'll just qualify anyways, right? I think there's enough quality sides. Even if you brought in a Paraguay from Commonwealth, I think CONCACAF you can go up to 3. I think Commonwealth you can go up to 3. I think Africa specifically you can go up to 3. And even if you just push
Three.
that up,
Okay, okay. South Africa is a good team, but I think you should have just gone one more in Europe, and that's it. Just
mm,
take the one more. Oh, you say, but you wanted to go 16 full. 16
yes,
you wanted to go, so you had to go wider. Okay, if 16 at that, you have to put up some confed style thing. So Jamaica versus Mexico, and Mexico would have won that game. So you just
mm,
put Mexico there. You understand me? We want teams that are going to compete to keep and raise the CONCACAF region. If we had our full team from Jamaica, then we could have talked about that. But this team that we saw played the other day, Africans, they ain't beating no Mexico, no Canada, no United States. They are getting 6 from most of these big teams. You
mm.
understand?
No,
So
and
that's
I
a
think
waste
that's
of
fair.
time.
Well, I think it for me, I'm not against that argument because I think you could open it up, but I see what you're saying in terms of what their current state is, and I don't disagree with that either. What I would say though is we're at an hour. And guys, thank you for coming by. I have appreciated you. We can keep going. Yes, we talked there as well. Gode said Olympic is coming up soon. Yes, that's true. I know there is friendlies and stuff. I know for Canada, probably you're going to play Mexico. We're probably, I think if Canada could match up, I know there's no European teams you can play because they have Euro qualifiers, so you can't play them. But I would say if Canada can get a game against like South Africa, I wouldn't be opposed to that, or even a Nigeria. But I just don't want to play teams I've played like 5 times in a year, which means I don't want to see Nigeria, Brazil, or the US until 2025. Just my personal preference. But we do know that Canada's going to somehow play Brazil in the fall because that always happens. But I think if you're Nigeria and you're looking at your side, who do you think will end up there? If you're Nigeria and Zambia, who would you be looking at to prepare yourself for the teams? Zambia is playing the US, Germany, Australia. I think an easy answer for Zambia would be play Canada, just so you can get a feel of a bit of the physicality, but also the speed of that team. I think Zambia would be a good matchup for Canada in prepping. You can't get any other teams. And then maybe even a team like Brazil. Zambia, if they could get a game with Brazil and Canada, and a nice shout out to Mexico, wouldn't be a bad spot for them to prepare for that. And then Nigeria, passing teams, I'd say again, Mexico is an easy answer for them there, from a good passing team. But then someone for that physicality, why not? You're playing Brazil. I would say Colombia wouldn't be a bad shout. If they played Mexico and Colombia, I think those two, if they can get those mixed for their windows, those would be good prep for them going forward. Do you have any suggestions for friendlies for Nigeria moving into this year?
Their group that they do have, is a tough group. So who could they get to replicate that? As they say, they can't get anyone else in Europe. But much other teams don't play like Spain and Japan. The only team that plays like Spain and Japan, to be honest, would have been Mexico. Yeah. So Mexico-Nigeria friendly would have been very, very good to get. So I think Mexico should be the team that they're trying to target, because they have all the skill set from both of them. Maybe not as good as none of them, but from both of them at the same time. So I think Mexico would be my friendly that I'm looking to target, to work on those areas to see if I can exploit it.
No, not bad. So guys, let us know in the comments if you're rewatching this. Thank you everyone who was here. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribe that you've given us. We'll be back because there's a lot of CONCACAF / African football we need to cover. I cover African Canadian football because I want to be the Africans if I didn't do both. And JD will one day take a vacation. I don't know when that day is.
Well, tomorrow is that day because I'm getting up sick from 7 o'clock tomorrow. We have to go to the zoo, and it's a family day. I'm going to leave my phone so nobody calls me, because I'm not going to answer you. I am not going to answer you. I am going to sleep.
So JD's taking his day off. Well deserved. I will be somewhere, probably still trying to get my She Believes Cup recap for Canada up. That'll be up sometime tomorrow or over the weekend, so look out for that. But guys,
and then we should be back for the CONCACAF, right? CONCACAF Rasta. Okay, so make a date for that so you can let the people know that you have to turn up, because you will tell us and then you don't turn up for some reason, and then make it seems like it's me. So when you have plan, when you schedule, you're free, so we could go through the entire rosters and give some predictions for that one. People need to see you, but you're hiding.
Say, guys, keep your Thursdays open. That's what I will tell you. Keep your Thursdays open, because that's what we're going to try to do to make sure we have that consistency, whether live every Thursday going from there. So that's what we're aiming for.
Next week Thursday, okay.
All right. So Jason says, bless up, guys. Bless up. Thank you for everyone for being here. This has been a question.
Bless up.
JD from the IMAX at WeMax crew, and we simply say bye-bye for now.